Hello, my name is Mjrlun, and welcome to another video. This is my first video on Dual Universe, probably one of the first you've seen, if you've seen any, that is. I wanted to show off some quick tips and tricks to get you started in this game if you decide you want to play it. Of course, this game is in beta, I must say, so everything about this game is probably still, some of it's still probably to change. Other stuff is probably going to stay. Optimization will happen. My current FPS will probably not be like this forever. You know, I think they're working on that sort of stuff right now. Anyway, so, on to the video. Here's some quick tips and tricks on how to get started and how to do stuff in Dual Universe. As we get started here, I was building this last night, but I can now show you some cool tricks I used to make this shape, because the game uses a voxel system. Yes, this weird voxel thing is a bug. It's not permanent. But gotta work within the bugs, right? So, if you want to make a shape similar to this, so if we have these different shapes, we have, if you press E on your keyboard, by default, it'll swap between all the different shapes you can place. If you do control scroll, control scroll, and it will change the size of the object, no matter what it is. So I can change, like, the size of my sphere, for example, to be big. Whenever, in certain shapes, if it has something like this, or it's yellow, that means it won't, even if it were to work, it wouldn't, it just says this will not work. It most definitely will not work. You want to avoid that as much as possible, because let me show you right now. If I do this, it just does this. The slope does not exist. And part of this is because the game has its voxels locked to a grid of some form. I don't know exactly how it works, of course, but it is what it is. Can't really get around it. So if you want to build shapes like this, inverted corners, you could say, what you might want to do, and this is what I did last night, is you'll do something like this, like a square, and then you can grab your, corner. Of course, these corners, for some reason, cannot be any smaller than, I can't control scroll, I can only make it bigger. But now what we can do is we can hold down C, which, actually no, I think it's R for, because I changed my controls around, because I like R being down. Anyway, if you hold down Alt, it's the opposite, it will allow you to remove voxels, and you can use this to create a slope, a corner slope, or an inverted corner, like that. And then you can use this tool called the Select Voxel tool. Click and create an area, Control X to cut, and then you can use T scroll to move it into the correct position, and then hit that button, or then click, and then it will change it. Oops, I used the wrong voxel, don't worry about it. We'll use number 8, which is the Swap Voxel tool. There we go. Moved it back to how it was. Okay, so here's another one. So, like I said, you can remove stuff to make it have good shapes. This is what I did here to make the slope. It was originally like this, but it kept on going to the edge. Remove that. You can also create slopes. Sometimes slopes don't work. Actually, a lot of the time slopes don't work because, or not slopes, corners don't work because the game hates corners for some odd reason. I don't understand why. It's probably something to do with their voxel system, but now what you can do is something like this, right? Wow, that didn't work terribly well, but what I've learned is if you do this, fail, I think I have to set it up differently. Okay, if we do something like a slope, like you, until it goes up like that, and then we grab you, oh, actually, I think we should probably just remove you, then we do something like this, and we do like there, and then, okay, so now we have that, and then we can something like this, right? And then move it up like there, and then we can use the smooth voxel tool, and it usually fixes a lot of these issues with the voxels, because it's trying to warp them. Basically, the way it works is it tries to warp all the vertices of this mesh voxel thing to what your shape you want, but since the resolution, quote unquote, is not high enough of the vertices, it does not allow it. So now I gotta undo, hit backspace, undo. If we hit plus or equals, it will, plus equals, it will redo. Well, let's just undo, all the way. Alright. Now some other tricks. Alt, literally every tool in the game has some sort of alt function, which is the function used to do the opposite of what you want to do. Basically, if I were to use the mine tool, and I had, actually, do I have stuff? I don't have any sand. Okay, I can't show that one, but you know, if we hit Alt, you can see over here we have these little things. You can hit scroll to either use your arrow key, or not your arrow keys, your numbers in order to switch between that. If you hold down Alt, you can then place, some whatever thing it is, versus mine by holding this down like this. Speaking of mining, we'll actually get to that part in a bit, because I have some cool tricks we can do. But let's continue with the building stuff. In this game, as you may have noticed, you can fully submerge anything called an element, which is literally, I guess... So we have the deploy element tool, deploy voxel tool, completely different things. Elements are predefined objects that are usually have some sort of functional purpose, like a thruster. But these are atmospheric thrusters. This is an M size. As you can see, we can fully submerge all this stuff into the voxels. No matter what it is, as long as it's not colliding with another, as long as like what you see, sometimes hitboxes get a little weird. In fact, this hover engine's hitbox is a little weird, but a lot of the items, as long as it doesn't collide directly with another element, it'll allow you to place it. And if it's, inside the building zone, this box is the building zone. You cannot build anywhere outside the building zone. You will need a larger core, which if we look up core, you will need a better core unit. We have dynamic, which means just ships. You have your space cores, which is like a space station. Static cores, which is like a station or a base on ground. The different sizes allow you to have different size build zones. So, for example, with my ship over here, it's called the Orca. Pretty cool. You can see how this one has a much larger building zone because I put a larger core on it. Speaking of my ship, it's pretty cool. I built it. I've been continuing building it. You can even sit. Oh, by the way, this is a cool thing I made. If you can hit it right, you can lay down, quote unquote, in the bed, even though beds don't have a function yet. They do exist. Also, because this place is just too small. There's also Lua script in this game, so that's cool. I'm just trying to brush past the things because I want to continue with the building. You can just see all of this stuff. Also, let's just plug my friend. Twitch.tv/SquidDrew. Okay, like I said, as you hold down C, it'll rotate the object. If you press C, it'll change what thing it is trying to, or what rotation sort of thing. Like if I do it like this, it'll rotate around. Usually whatever you place it on, it'll rotate around. But if you don't like it like directly attached to a voxel, literally, you can use the arrow keys to move it around. It's a little confusing because it's based on the perspective of the surface that you've put the thing on. T-scroll will move it back and forth. The T-scroll function is supposed to work on voxels, but I believe right now it's not fully working properly. For example, if I were to use the arrow keys to move this and I tried T-scrolling, you may hear that noise. It does not work. It's unfortunate. It will be fixed, I hope, soon. Anyway, we can now move on to mining, which is pretty cool. I gotta go fly back to my island, and because I don't want you guys to see all of my stuff and claim my island, because I'll just have a rant about a little bit thing that needs to be fixed, considering this is beta 1, so tweaks and changes are to be made. Anyway, let's go over there. While we're at it, I want to do a little bit of piloting tricks. So scroll or increase your throttle. WS as well will do that. Let's see, where am I gonna go? I have to cut this out. Hold down Control to, as you can see, it uses your brakes. Brakes do not use any fuel of any sort, and they're kind of just like existing. They'll eventually be directional, I believe, so where they have to be set in the proper position in order to not get blocked, or in order to stop a certain direction. I believe, I don't know when that's happening, but as you can see, I have air brakes on my vehicle. You have your hover engines underneath, of course, which you hold it would basically just propel you near the ground. Anyway, you also need to have, if you're building a plane, you need wings. But, I have the controls, I'm using the mouse control scheme, which is different from the keyboard-only control scheme, in the sense that the keyboard and mouse control scheme is like Space Engineers, Star Maid, Empyrean, etc. It is just, I use my mouse to move, as well as I use my keyboard to use it. If you were to be using only keyboard, you would use the A, D, Q, and E keys to rotate your vehicle. So, anyway, I just like using the mouse because it leaves more fine tuning. Like Star Maid, you can actually set it to like a joystick sort of movement, but it's kind of janky. I wouldn't prefer it. Anyway, let's go over to my island, and then I can show you guys some mining stuff. For whenever you're landing your ship, just all you have to do is if you have landing gears, just press G, and hold down Control. You'll brake, and then just exit your vehicle. Then I'll open my door. This is actually using the link tool to create a door. But now you have your ship landed, and you can go about your day. If you did not have landing gears, don't really worry. They're mostly for docking purposes on other ships, as well as more like, I guess, elevating your ship above the ground to have, like, an entrance, or actually staying firmly on the ground to where you won't, like, slide around as much. Anyway, we gotta move on to the mining bit. So, if you want to mine, I have to grab out my link tool, or not my link tool, my scanner tool, which is, I'll just replace right there. Anyway, actually, I'm gonna move you around. There we go. So, you use your mine tool for mining. You can also use this one for mining, just, like, surface, I guess, not surface, like, world voxels, except for ores. This is specifically for ores, but also can mine this. You can also increase the size to make you mine faster. Basically, you have all these things on the scanner, and you're like, what are these? So basically, each one of those things is a different type of ore, right? And the more they get to the bottom, the closer they are to you. So basically, you can go in cardinal directions to figure out which one you want to go to. However, you see how there's many ores, and we don't really know which one is what? Well, if you want to find a specific ore, you can go into your, I don't know what this is called. It's called, like, I guess I will just call it the context menu, because Gary's mod. You go into this menu, and then you can click show, and then you can find all this stuff, and then you can turn off tier 1, and now we only see tier 2s and above. If we turn off all of the ones except for tier 2, we see either the blue one or the what is it, or the cyan light blue sort of one. And I'm on Jago, which means, because there's actually a really cool tool you can use to know where ores spawn underground. It's not necessary on this planet, really, except for, like, tier 3 and tier 4, because they'll spawn deeper, but we actually have limestone and chromite. There's malachite and natron do not exist. All of these are actual elements, by the way, or I guess elements. I don't actually know if some of them are compounds. Anyway, so once you have these on your radar, you'll want to pick whatever one you want to go to. Now we go in cardinal directions to figure out which one, where to find it. So if we head east, we will hopefully find this. Whenever the curve starts flattening, that means you're getting closer to it, and you'll most likely be able to change cardinal direction. Don't stop, like, running, because you can hold down shift or double tap W to run. Don't stop moving until it starts flattening entirely or goes up in the other direction, because otherwise you might have issues with that. Alright, usually once you find some form of ore, and you're certain that you found it, then what you want to do, in my case, I want to preserve my land. Did I collect the items? Yes, I did. Okay. So if you go over here, if you want to preserve the natural landscape and don't just want to dig a hole in the ground, turn on this, which is Keepdown precious ore. Basically, any voxel of the world that's other than ore. So I should be currently getting it. Am I not getting it? Yeah, it looks like I'm getting it. Okay, cool. Oh, I also forgot to say this, but whenever you link container, which is just right-click on a container and then click it declares link container, if you press Control-I, it will... Actually, can I see that? Control-I. Oh, yeah, okay, it is showing it. It doesn't say on the bottom like it used to, but if you look on the right, you can actually see it says link container and nanopack. Because we have the soil in our link container as our active container, we can then place it as long as that's our active container. If you press Control-I, it'll swap it between, like I said. It's useful for whenever you're mining, because your inventory is small comparatively, so if you're like an M container or an S container, it's sometimes easier to do that. It'll automatically put things that don't fit in that container into your nanopack, so it's not even a big deal. Anyway, once we get down a little bit, you can swap over to your mine tool, so we can mask the surface to make sure that it doesn't poke through. And then we just dig straight down, check our scanner occasionally, make sure, we're getting closer. And as we get closer, we should see it. As of right now, though, you may notice there's this weird, like, water if you're on Alioth, or in my case, basically any planet with water on it, or any sort of, like, surface liquid, because I don't know if other planets can have other surface liquid in the future. There will be a layer of just this at sea level, and then that down will have different fog and stuff like that. Basically, there's no real, doesn't really do anything right now. There's no, like, breath meter or, like, health or anything, but just keep that in mind. I'm sure eventually this will be changed to where it's not just, we're not underwater when we've dug a hole on the like, from the surface. I guess unless you consider, like, aquifers, but how would you have aquifers whenever, you're not terribly, like, I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, we dig down to the ore. Looks like we're almost there. I think I've been collecting a lot of it. Okay, I'm going to delete. You can delete with right-click and delete as well. So, once we get close to it, you can start using directional scanner, which I'll get to in a second. Sometimes it's just easier to use your like regular scanner because it has a longer range, and the other one has really short range. So if you really no idea where it is, and it isn't picking up on your scanner, you'll still have to search for it. Okay, so now we're really close, right? Now we gotta make sure to not move our mouse too much. My things are slightly upgraded. You actually start with 200 meters of seeing ore. So anyway, so look what we found it. Nope, wait, it's right here. Oh, we actually do have our chromium and limestone right here. Looks to be, yeah, it's right here. I think they're bordering each other. Anyway, so we just move it around until we see that. It'll say it's detecting it right there, as you can see. Make sure you don't move your mouse too much. You might actually, like, if you move it around, you will pick it up, but you will have no idea. You'll just have, like, oh, it exists. So if we can find it again, then we dig in that general direction, and we should find it instantly. I believe the chromium is over here. Where is it? It's like, is it down here? Oh, well. Yeah, it looks like we can't find it right now. Anyway, now that we're at this, first I want to delete my soil. Actually, I'll delete, like, most of it. 3,000. Don't really need it. Anyway, once you're done with that, of course, you can just remove the no precious ore thing. Or keep no precious ore thing. But anyway, if you want to get the most money, quote-unquote, quickly, at least right now with the economy being all broken, you don't really want to do this. But if you look up limestone, you can see how it, basically up here, this is where you sell items. This is where you give items to people for money. Down here is where you buy items from people for money. Just to be clear. It'll usually have a quick sell, quick buy. Highly recommended to not use that unless you're really lazy. It's good for, like, buying things usually, but bad for selling things because it'll automatically choose the next highest thing. The next highest buy order. So if I click distance, you can see looks like no one wants to buy my limestone on Jago. So yeah, we don't really want to mine this, but I wanted to mine it for the sake of this video, also because, you know, it's kind of useful just to have. I can't actually do anything with it right now, but I will be able to do it in the future. Anyway, so tier 1 ore mines quicker with your mine tool. Doesn't usually mine this slowly, except for whenever you're mining tier 2 or above. Basically, depending on the tier, it'll mine slower. Tier 4s is absurdly slow. Probably tier 5s is like takes forever. You can change this in the talents menu in mining inventory. After you fill out advanced mining 4, I'm trying to just grind out all this stuff. Anyway, you can see mining efficiency +5 ore extracted. You can also do stuff like let's see. I think is it actually in mining? It looks like it is. Let's see. Yeah, so then you have this, which is the mining optimizations. It requires advanced mining, but then you can get these, and it will take less time for you to mine. Like, it says, like, sphere size, like what I'm doing right now. Anyway, once you've gathered your ore, you can either manufacture it to make something, or you can sell it. I'd say that, at least right now, probably good to sell tier 1s, but not necessarily tier 2s. Unless you get a good deal on it. Good deal, I'd say, for tier 2s is at least 40, but, you know, your mileage may vary depending on where you live. Also, nice Minecraft, like Voxel Glitch. Nice one, Nova Quark. Tier 1s sell, for the bots at least, they were selling at like 8 apiece, so anything above that is usually really good to buy or to sell from. So, for example, I actually managed to get like a bunch of coal and quartz, all tier 1s. This is why I say the link container thing, active container thing, is really useful, because then you can deposit a bunch of ore into your container and then fly it over to the market and sell it, because at least on Jago, let's just say the veins are a little bigger than they usually are on Alioth, so, you know, it's useful to sell. You can usually get, like, if you're like a massive vein of tier 1s, you'll get like 200k. It's not that much, but for early game, it's pretty good. Also, just because I want to support the economy to where it gets up to speed, because, you know, when they removed all the bots, it became worse. Let's just say that. basically they removed bots for everything but tier 1, which caused the entire stock market to crash, which is funny because it's very realistic to how real life would go if no one was buying or selling. The real reason for that, as you may have seen in one of their posts on their forum page. Is it on the forum page? I think it is. Anyway, they wanted to remove the bots for the sake of keeping it balanced, because somehow people managed to get to billionaire status in like beta launching. When I say beta launching, I mean like backer beta launching, so they could get beta working properly. Anyway, they just didn't want to have people being billionaires yet, because that breaks the game loop a lot. Anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video and all my rambling. And if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to see my live stream that I'll probably be doing tonight. If I can't, I'm sorry. It's my first live stream, so it's very possible I won't have the ability to do so. Today is today is a day where I have to do lots of things in real life, celebratory reasons. If you know me in real life, you know why. I don't want to get into more details from there. But anyway, see you guys later. See you guys whenever. You might be watching this in the future. Have a great day. Goodbye.